Oh, what's this thing for? Oh. The economy has just went on a massive bender, a bender of spending, and now people can no longer pay their bills. Gosh, it's bright in here. Can someone turn off that light?
No, shut up.
Thanks. The economy is having a hangover. Credit card debt is continuing to rise. Household debt is continuing to rise, and more people are no longer making their payments. We just need some coffee. Okay, let's get to the news because quite frankly, it's getting serious and I need a nap. There's a couple of stories going on here, but the general theme is that people can no longer pay their bills, okay? They spent too much money, they went on a bender, and it's been a little too much for them. The sad thing is they are no longer going to be in play for taking advantage of an amazing collapse and great prices on homes, art, cars, baseball cards, stocks, your favorite toy from the 1980s, put it down below. The one your parents couldn't afford, that you always wanted but you couldn't afford. All that kind of stuff is happening because more and more people's credit card debt has gotten out of control. They can't pay their payments. You see how this goes. Sorry, I'm a little slow right now. Real quick, 24-hour flash sale on the Dominate Debt course if you want to learn how to get out of debt and never be in debt again. And also if you want to, build your credit score up, I got a solution for that. Links down below. All right, I got two stories here. Let's see which one to go with first. Delinquency rates out of Forbes in credit card news. Delinquency rates rise again for major credit card issuers. The average 30-day plus delinquency rate for 6 major U.S. credit card issuers ticked up in July. This story just came out yesterday. It says here the average rate for American Express, Bank of America, Capital One, Citigroup, Discover, and JP Morgan Chase was 1.34% in July. This is a slight increase from June and up 17 basis points from a year earlier. Let me stop real quick because a lot of people are like, Ninja, this isn't that big of a deal. That's not that big of a bender. I could handle more. Well, I guess that's personal preference. Point being is that it's ticking up, all right? And things tend to get worse as the unemployment rises. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately. The financial press has been saying unemployment is looking no bueno. No bueno. It says here, only Discover logged a subsequently flat delinquency rate in July, while the rest posted higher 30-day plus delinquency rates compared to the previous month. Year over year, only JP Morgan reported a lower delinquency rate with a metric declining 6 basis points. I need more coffee. Type 1 if you see the fact that people have spent too much and you understand that even though the delinquency rates are rising a little bit right now, they're going to get worse. Type 1 if you agree with that. I'd be typing 1. Type 2 if you're like, no way. The Fed's going to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Bidenomics is awesome. I hope Kamala gets anointed or appointed or whatever you call it. Just type 2 for all of that crap. But type 1 if you think that things are going to get worse. All right. Getting back to the hangover of the economy. The U.S. credit card debt. Now, this story comes out of Maine Morning Star. U.S. credit card debt continues to rise as housing and other costs remain high for the lowest earners. Americans are, and this is really sad because when we come to say the lowest earners, I was part of the lowest earner for the majority of my life. It's funny. As a firefighter, a career paid full-time firefighter, my maximum pay for the entire year with all of the overtime I could get was $107,000. Now, I can guarantee you there are going to be people that say that's a lot more than I made. Well, you just need to make better choices. That's just the truth of the world. I mean, You want to make more money, you just make better choices. That's just how life works. But there'll just be people that piss and moan at that. But even that, at $107,000 where I was living, it was very hard to raise a family, be able to do what everyone else was doing, and pay my bills. You know, I bought a home. I wanted to pay off all my debt. I wanted to pay off my home. And, you know, it's after taxes, it's hard. And so I had to have side hustles, and I started businesses and things like that. When we're talking about the lowest, and I had to personally refrain from keeping up with the Joneses. I couldn't do it. While they're all going on vacations, wearing designer shoes and clothes, I couldn't do it. I shopped at Big Five. No joke. I shopped at Kohl's my entire life, being full-time as a firefighter. I was even made fun of by some of my fellow firefighters because I wore cheap clothing. But I wanted a better life for myself, and I had to dig myself out of those trenches. And that is the case for anyone, anywhere in the entire earth. Our life is just simply choices. Now it says Americans are racking up, and just to throw this out there, guys, type 10 if you agree with that. Our life is all simply choices. If we want to make more money, we go make more money. If we want a better job, you go get a better job. Stop whining about everybody else having something better than you have. If you want something better for yourself, you got to go get it yourself. All right? Honestly, I only want to hang out with people that are serious about life, serious about being more successful, serious about making a change. This world is full of a bunch of crappy people that are just wishy-washy, just floating around doing nothing. Thank you. See all the people that are hitting tens? Cool. Americans are racking up credit card debt as they struggle to keep up with the cost of living. As experts say, those who earn the least are the hardest hit. Total credit card balances rose 5.8% from a year ago to $1.14 trillion, according to a new recent New York Fed report. Equifax credit files through June show that credit card delinquency is still rising, but that delinquency on consumer finance loans and retail cards fell, and auto loan delinquencies were flat. People use credit cards for all kinds of purchases, and despite the stereotype of consumers getting themselves into too much credit card debt so that they can buy a few flashy extra pieces of clothes or vacations, many of them are for necessities. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. Just this is the truth. I use credit cards for every single thing I buy. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I pay them off every month. I don't pay a lick of interest. And then I enjoy all these points everywhere, and I get cash back and all this stuff. But it takes responsibility. Do you know how many people would sit there and say, I can't believe you've got credit cards, Ninja? I'm like, I can't believe you don't stay in a Hilton for free because you got all these points. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there are, I don't know if you know this saying, but let's keep it clean, Ninja. Opinions are like bums. Everybody's got them, and they all stink. But that's my opinion. You can actually use credit cards for good things, right? But the fact of the matter is there's so many people right now that can't keep up with their bills. They're actually putting their living expenses on their credit cards. And they're going to say at a certain point, why not just default? It doesn't matter, right? I'm already hungover. The party's over. Everyone else is doing it. Let's just stop paying. Their credit limit is going to be smashed down to nothing. Their credit score is going to collapse. They're not going to be able to take part in these amazing deals, and that is because a majority of people are going to act that way. Well, to be honest with you, I want to get out of this hangover of spending, and I want to enjoy all this amazing stuff in this crash, and I want to go crush it. And I hope so many of you want to crush it too. Matter of fact, I hope that half of you understand this sort of sketch or analogy or whatever I'm trying to do of this spending hangover and are doing something about it. Type 12 if you are doing something right now to prepare and you know that this is coming. Actually, it's already here. So, people use credit cards for all kinds of things, it says. If you're in that half who's paying your credit cards in full and taking full advantage of rewards and buyer protections, life is great for you. Hey, type 100 if you do the same thing. You use credit cards for good things. You pay it off every month. Your credit balance is going up because you know all the little tips and tricks of how to get your credit score up to an 850, and you're getting all this free stuff. And you have the protection of using the credit card over using an ATM card. I know it sounds crazy, but so few people have understood this, and a lot of people listen to complete tools like Dave Ramsey. You know a good thing about a lie? Let me just share this with you. And this is where the ninja goes off the rails. A good lie is believable because it has enough truth to make it believable. That's what makes a good lie. And there are so many people that sit there and, pay cash for everything, don't have any credit card, don't use debt. They don't get wealthy. They don't get wealthy that way. Savers always get screwed by the government and banks through something called inflation. And it's sad. And very few people know how to grow wealth the right way, keeping certain things not in debt in certain areas of their life, and then using debt in other aspects of their life to make lots and lots of money. But what do I know? I'm just sort of a dude with a bro hawk and a dream. And that dream at one point was to graduate high school. That didn't go so well. Still, the rate of growth in credit card debt has accelerated. It is impossible to look at rising credit card debt without acknowledging the high cost of living, such as housing prices. The Consumer Price Index, a measure of inflation, showed that in July, shelter increased 0.4% and made up 90% of that month's rise in all the items index. Inflation is definitely contributing to higher balances, even if it's a category like rent, which most people are not putting on a credit card. If you are getting squeezed on rent, you have less money to go around for groceries and gas and other things that maybe you are putting on a credit card now. The Federal Reserve's campaign to raise interest rates to bring down inflation also affects credit card debt, and some economists say it's fueling economic inequality. You know what I think about inequality? That word to me only is, I think, in the dictionary right now of most politicians. In their dictionary, the reason why they want to say inequality is because they want to buy votes and cause some kind of social class war. People who rely on credit cards and other forms of borrowing to finance all sort of other things in their lives, whether that's food or purchases for investments in their education or purchases for their home or their children, disproportionately folks who are poor, they're really hurting because interest rates are really high. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe any of this crap, but I do believe in this. If you want to get out of debt, the choice is only up to you and you alone. The most important thing you can do is start to educate yourself right now how to get out of debt. And once you get out of debt and you climb out of the hole like I did, you will never get into debt again. And that is a very important place to be. If you want, I'll put a discount link, 24 hours for the Dominate Debt course. I think it is the most important thing you can do. Not buying the course. You don't got to buy a course on how to get out of debt. If you want a clear plan, a roadmap to getting out of debt, and all those documents that the checklists and the budgets and all stuff, fine, you can go buy it. But you've got to make the decision today. And I guarantee you, type yes if you are in debt and you've gotten out of debt below and how amazing it was, so that other people can see what it's like. And if you're in debt right now and you feel like there's no way out, I can guarantee you this, 100% there is. But you've got to make the action. You've got to make the move. And then let's go out during this crash and let's go crush it. Come on. You know what? I'm feeling better. The hangover's over. The economic ninja is out.